Imagine growing up in the cradle of America only to find out later in life that you have a special calling to help usher in the Messianic era. I went to the biblical Gilgal region next to Jericho to meet Robert Wenger, who distinguished rabbis called the best shofar sounder in the world. And when you take a look at this report, you'll see why people on all corners of the globe are holding their breath.
There was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. The heavens, the earth, and all their subordinate parts were now completed.
How did a young athlete growing up in Los Angeles end up calling down the sound of God?
My job in Hebrew school was to terrorize the Hebrew school teacher, so I spent more time in the rabbi's office, I think, than I did in the class.
As a child, Robert Wenger was the lead trumpet player for his junior high school band and the bugle player in the Boy Scouts. He is the son of a Holocaust survivor who he describes as a Renaissance man.
He lived to be 100 years old. He was born on Rosh Hashanah, and he ended up dying on Rosh Hashanah on a second Jubilee. He's a double portion of Jubilee.
Little did his dad know nearly 50 years ago that this painting of 5 hands holding a shofar would prove prophetic. His hands somehow wrote the name of God into the painting.
On the hand holding the shofar, in the shadows of the fingers on the knuckles of the hand, they saw Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, the name of the Lord. You know, some people say, what's that? They say it's a scar of a nail.
Robert was a family man living in Mount Diablo outside of San Francisco. He had a long career as a marketing executive for beverages like Gatorade. A disagreement with his team at his last job led him to climb the Devil Mountain to figure out what to do when he grows up.
And one day I had this burning bush type of experience where I felt the presence of something much bigger and greater than myself, and it brought me to my knees.
Next thing he knew, he got the call to come to Israel. And on his trip, he was asked by a fellow tourist to hold his souvenir shofar while he went to the bathroom. The next thing that everyone knew,
I put it to my lips. After all, I was the first chair trumpet in the junior high school band, and out came the Israeli Defense Force wake-up call. And the next thing you know, there's 15 Israelis surrounding me with flash bulbs going off and cheers and applause. And then there was a 5.3 earthquake. It's actually documented, which is really the fulfillment of Psalm 29. It's the biblical Gilgal. This is the land that God gave the Jewish people as an everlasting covenant.
destiny brought him to the Bet Hogla region of Israel outside of Jericho and across the Jordan River, from where Moses saw the land of Israel from Mount Nebo and died. After Moses died, Joshua led the Israelites across the Jordan River into the Promised Land. Where you see these date palm trees is where it said that they were able to rest and hydrate. And this landmass here is where it said that they were all circumcised, officially made the covenant with God before going in and conquering Jericho. And to celebrate, the Israelites went around Jericho 7 times to the sound of the biblical trumpet and entered into the Promised Land.
Jericho is a temptation city, but with the Torah, this city becomes holy. So that happens only here, that the opposites come together.
Erna Kovos, known as the matriarch, is a pioneer who has spent nearly 20 years literally bringing Bet Hogla back to life. Her mission is to share the divine nature of this region next to the Dead Sea.
Here is the highest point and the lowest in the same place, you see? And you don't have such a thing nowhere in the world.
Biblical Gilgal is also where the prophet Elijah was said to teach a school of prophets in the 9th century BC. Imagine what it would have been like to be one of the students of Elijah the prophet. Well, it is said that they studied here in these caves, and his protege, Elisha, recalls the time that Elijah literally ascended to heaven in a chariot of fire. It took a few years for Robert to get used to God speaking to him directly, which could sound crazy to others.
I can't explain the voice other than it's a real strong unction, that little voice talking in your head all the time, and I recognized that it was a whole lot more intelligent than I knew myself to be.
The same voice told him to call United Airlines to go to the border of North and South Korea. Robert says God always speaks to him through his bank account, this time with a flight costing $181.50.
The amazing thing is they took me to the highest place of the DMZ, which is a heliport. And when I got up there, the symbol, the insignia of the South Korean Army unit was a Star of David in blue and white, the colors of the Israeli flag. It was on a cliff overlooking the ocean, sounding the shofar. I fulfilled not only my own tagline, but I fulfilled Isaiah 41, which says, the word of the Lord shall go out from Zion. The Torah will go out from Zion, from Yerushalayim to the ends of the earth.
Robert's Shofar So Great draws hundreds of Jewish and Christian tourists from all over the world, where he shares with them the prophetic power of the shofar. And
Amen.
Even passing the ancient baton to female novices like me. In the Gilgal region of Israel, Emily Francis, I-24 News. I hope you enjoyed my shofar blowing experience. At least a sound came out for the first time ever.